Hello and welcome to the morning after show presented by our good friends over at Underdog Fantasy Sports. My name is Joshua Reimer. I am joined by none other than Jared Block. Jared, I don't know about you, but I've been so used to these past few weekdays. There's NBA, there's MLB. I don't really watch hockey, but it's always an option. Only having MLB last night, I'm not going to say it was a bummer because Cash Games ended up winning, which I was very happy about. It was very close. Ninth inning home run by Yastrzemski ended up pushing us into the cash. But it was I don't know. It just didn't feel as eventful as recent weeks have. I don't know if you feel the same way, but that's at least how I was feeling.
Yeah, a little bit of a slow, like it's kind of weird. I mean, it's only been like a day, but I don't have any really interest in NBA stuff anymore. I'll watch tonight, and I'll watch the rest of the playoffs. There's just
Yeah.
not much rooting interest for me as much anymore. I do think that whoever comes out of the Eastern Conference will win the title, and we'll just see how it goes from there. But yeah, it's kind of a weird point because yes, we do have NBA and NHL playoffs, but as far as rooting interests for me go, I mean, I'm looking towards football season already, even though the Brewers are pretty good.
Wow. Yeah. Football season already. That's a bold statement. I don't know, man. I'm excited for the playoffs tonight. I think I don't know if I agree with you if whoever comes out of the East is who wins it. I think the Warriors have a really good chance. So I don't know. I mean, I'm really excited for everything. But let's get into stuff and let's start talking about everything that happened yesterday and overall in the world of sports. We'll start out in the UFC recap since we weren't able to cover it yesterday because there was so much to talk about with Game Sevens and all that. We're covering it today, and first we're talking about this main card where we had Alexander Rakic face off against Jan Blachowicz, and I really thought Jan had this in the bag, and then Alexander got the leg injury, and then it was kind of like, oh yeah, he's definitely got it in the bag. People are kind of judging Jan because of the fact that Rakic got a leg injury, so they're saying it's not a real win. He had the win in his hands basically all the other rounds. I don't know. Maybe Rakic could have landed that shot, but he's not necessarily like a knockout guy. So I know you were you were noticing how many times they were saying Polish power on the broadcast. Did you get to witness that Polish power from Jan?
I got to see a little bit of it, yeah. That was probably the only fight that I watched in a whole. I would kind of just look back and look at what was going on, and that was it. But yeah, I did notice that, and I did notice that they were just shilling the crap out of that all night, which is
Mm.
fine. It's a real thing, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard to take away somebody's win when somebody else is injured. That's just how many fights would be like that if we knew that somebody else was actually injured during it? Every single one. You
Yeah.
know, like
I mean,
everybody gets hurt all the time.
You're fighting each other. There's bound to be injuries. You are throwing punches with 4 ounce gloves. You're bound to injure someone at some point. So I don't know. It's an interesting case there. I know he came out to the media and said like, I don't care if he was injured. I'm a warrior. I won that fight. So on and so forth. It is what it is. It was a pretty boring card overall. I mean, I didn't even have a lot of interest outside of our fighters. We had David Grant get a big TKO win. We had Ryan Spann surprisingly submit Ion
Yep.
Kutilaba, which was a
Mhm.
shocker to everyone involved there. Um, Caitlin Chukagian winning against Amanda Ribas. That was I'm not gonna say a shock. I think that Amanda Ribas should have won on the scorecards, but those pesky judges. And then rolling down here and seeing if there's anything else I want to. Oh my God! Did you see any of the Vivian Araujo versus Andrea Lee fight?
No,
I've
did not.
never seen a more exciting 125 women's fight. Like they're out there dropping each other every round, and that was a great fight. Vivian Araujo ends up getting the win there, and then Andre Prochazka from The Ultimate Fighter ends up submitting Nick Maximov with an anaconda choke. Nick Maximov, I don't know if you knew this, but he trains with the Diaz brothers. He's like the Diaz brothers boys, and he's like The reason he gets fights in the UFC or good fights in the UFC is because of the Diaz brothers. And to see him lose here was kind of funny because it was only a matter of time before Nick Maximov ended up losing, and of course he loses to Petrosky, who is very one and done. If you don't get him done in the first round, then it's over for him. But it was a good card. It definitely a step down from what we had the week before with UFC 274. But we have another UFC fight night coming up very soon, and yeah, we get to cover that as well.
It's kind of well, I guess it's not shocking, but Petrowski was the one of the biggest underdogs on the card too.
You
Like,
know,
yeah, yeah, by far. Um, yeah, I guess it's not surprising to see that, especially when you're saying that Maximov doesn't really deserve to be there necessarily. The biggest did people didn't play that guy in DFS, did they? I didn't see much ownership
Petrosky.
on him. Oh no, wait, Maximov was like 40. I said that he was like 50% owned on DraftKings this
Yeah,
past weekend.
and like 20% owned in the MVP spot over on FanDuel. It was
Oh
so
boy.
that was easy money, very easy money. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the NBA playoffs a little bit. Talk about today's game that we have. The Heat facing off against the Celtics. Miami Heat 2-point favorites in this game. Currently, Marcus Smart and Robert Williams are questionable for this game, so we'll have to see if they are good to go. But the Heat are at full strength, and it kind of does feel like Boston is still the better team, even with Boston being a little bit hurt. What are your thoughts on both sides here? And do you think this Boston team? What's your prediction for the series overall?
I think it all kind of depends on the health of the Celtics. I also think that Marcus Smart's probably going to be just fine and good to go here. I doubt that he would ever try to be. I shouldn't. Yeah, I actually mistyped. Heat are not at full strength. Kyle Lowry's still dealing with stuff, so I don't know if he's actually going to be able to go tonight. Um, Currently questionable. He's missed the last several games and he was like in and out of practice, so we'll see if he actually does give it a go here. But I'm more concerned with what this Robert Williams injury is, and I know it's been something that's been nagging whether because he got beat up during the Bucks series quite a bit, enough to where he wasn't playing at all, and then they said he was available in Game 7, and then he didn't really play that much, if at all. So I am interested to see how they approach playing big against Miami Heat. I think that um, they took this smaller approach to focus on Giannis in that series beforehand, and I don't know if they're necessarily able to do the same thing. I would give the Celtics an advantage if we knew Robert Williams was 100% healthy. I just don't know if that's going to be the case here, and we haven't really seen. Yes, I know Miami's lost a couple games in this playoffs, but we have just not really seen them actually be tested longer than 4 games. So I don't know how they're going to look, and I don't know how they're going to show up. And it's just like what we said a couple of days ago. The Heat are the perfect example of a team. If they were my team, I would be a little bit scared of having too much time off in this spot against a team that just won 7 games, felt really, really good coming off of a huge series win in a spot where they were underdogs. Actually, I don't. Do you think that you could say the Celtics were underdogs coming in?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know, maybe not.
Or favorites without
I,
Middleton? I don't
I,
know.
I
But either way,
guess yeah.
still one of
Regardless,
the biggest playoff series, if not the biggest playoff series so far. And you have the Heat who kind of mosey on by in the first round, and then just you know, I don't know. I still think the Philly probably could have like been eliminated in 4 games, but they kind of just took their time with that. So
you know.
I don't know. I'm not really sure, but I do think that I'm a little bit scared in terms of if I'm betting. I'm not going to bet on the Heat tonight.
Yeah, no, certainly. I think I'd lean on the Celtics side of things. I don't know. Should be interesting. Should be a good game. Um, I think that I think I would lean betting on the Celtics if I'm betting on any side. But I it's going to be a good game to watch. I think I'm excited for it for sure. All right, let's move on. CP3 says he's not retiring, even though after his disappointing performance in that series, What are your thoughts on the whole CP3 situation? You know, we've had so much. I feel like it's a different conversation than it was yesterday because yesterday, there wasn't much to go off of. Today or yesterday, after we got off the show, we learned about Patrick Beverly coming on First Take, kind of talking shit about Chris Paul, and then we found out about Chris Paul's injury a little bit more. There was a lot to find out about. So, how do you feel about the whole Chris Paul situation after everything happened?
I I don't think I didn't think he was going to retire necessarily. I don't think he wants to go out like that. But at some point, what if it keeps happening? So I don't know. I think, like I said yesterday, I think the Suns have this 3-year window, and they might be on the back half of it soon. They obviously always have a chance with CP3 and Booker, but then you have to worry about what's going to happen with DeAndre Ayton. You don't know if those bench pieces are going to be around. We don't know how solid. Like they have a very very solid starting five. I just worry. I think that their depth was actually uh, not as solid as we thought it might have been since last year. I think they were a much deeper team last year, and then weren't able to get it done necessarily here. Um, I don't know. I'm still not too sure what to do with the Suns squad because they had the best record in the league and they were able to kind of cruise through everything. And I guess maybe it's not as shocking when you think about how much they struggled against the Pelicans in the first round. Uh, I guess I'm not as shocked seeing that anymore.
Yeah, man, it's certainly interesting. I don't know. He says Paul says a few things. Says he's not retiring, and says, "Hopefully, I'm healthy coming back," which I guess scares me a little bit. But it
That's
should
true.
be,
Yeah.
yeah, right. It is a little bit weird to say. Hopefully, I'm healthy coming back. I think that's an interesting comment. But regardless, at the end of the day, this Phoenix team doesn't have a big window, and honestly, that window might be pretty much shut at the end of the day. Like, I guess it all depends on what you do with the Aiton situation. If you are going to
Mhm.
let him go somewhere else, how can you use that cap room effectively to add a big man or a superstar of some sorts? Maybe another wing player is needed. But I don't know. Should be very interesting to see what this Suns team ends up doing at the end. Found out yesterday that Kerr is going to be rejoining this Warriors team after his league protocol time. Sick with COVID for a little bit, clears league protocols. Good news that he's back. I think that this team is a better team when Kerr is coaching rather than it's Mike Brown.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I agree with you. I don't have much to say other than that. I mean, it's just a big step for that team, and they don't play until tomorrow. So, again, a little bit more time to prepare there.
Yeah, a little bit
Well,
more
the
time.
Warriors have been off for a while now. They've been off for like 6 days.
No way, really?
I mean, what they won on what Saturday, Friday?
Yeah, Friday, I think. They won on
Friday.
Friday because there's a day
They
off
don't play
between
until
Friday
Wednesday.
Oh yeah, you're right. They don't play until Wednesday. Yeah, it's a long time. You're right. It's probably like 5 or 6 days. That's crazy. Yeah, so they're kind of in this. I'm not going to say same boat as Miami. Miami hasn't played since
Nah.
like last Tuesday or Wednesday or something. But it
Hmm.
has been quite a while since we've seen this Warriors team. All right, let's talk about the NBA draft a little bit. NBA draft lottery is tonight. We finally get to see who is going to get that number one overall pick. And then I'm trying to pull this up on my screen, but I don't know where it is. So, Jared, if you want to run through the teams and their odds to get that number one overall pick, you can do so.
Sure. So we have the Houston Rockets, the chance to win 14%, chance of top four 52%. Obviously, they were in this spot last year, and they ended up getting Jalen Green with that pick. Orlando Magic, chance to win 14%, chance of top four pick 52.1%, same as the Rockets. The Magic had two top 10 picks last year. Got Jalen Suggs and Franz Wagner, who I think uh, Wagner was the one that exceeded expectations. I think Suggs was up and down with injury, so kind of unfair to see that and judge that. I also think Suggs left for the draft a little bit too early. He probably needed a year in the G League or a year in college to be able to kind of make that. But whatever. They have another chance to get a top four pick, which they'll most likely get. The Detroit Pistons, 14% chance to win. Same odds, 52.1% of the top four. They won last year's lottery and drafted Cade Cunningham. Would be really interesting to see what they did if they won the lottery again this year. Because I think that they obviously picked correctly in getting Cade, but I don't know if and we'll talk about this after we're done, but I don't know if the number one pick is. I mean, I'm nervous for whoever gets that number one spot because they could easily butcher that. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But Oklahoma City, 14% chance. They have 55.2% chance to get a top four pick, which is the highest so far. They have a lot of, and they also have this unprotected rights to the Clippers pick, which is presently number 12, which is why you get the slight boost of that top 4% or top four result. Um, Obviously, they have a ton of first round picks, and they have 17 first round picks in the next 5 drafts, if you forgot that number. Uh, Indiana Pacers, 10% chance to win, 42% chance to get top four. They basically tanked the last half of the season to make sure that they got in this range. But I don't know if that, like the tanking is only going to do so good if you ended up getting like the number 8 slot, which could happen. So Portland Trailblazers also in here, 9% chance to win, chance of top four, 37%. Sacramento, 7.5% chance to win, 32% chance top four. New Orleans Pelicans, surprisingly in this as well, 6% chance to win, 26% chance to get top four. And the San Antonio Spurs, 4.5% chance to win, 20% top four. Washington Wizards, 3% chance, 13% top four. New York Knicks, 2% chance, 9.5% for four. Charlotte Hornets, 1% chance, 4.5% top four. Cleveland Cavaliers, 0.5% chance to win, 2.4% top four. So that is that.
Yep. Should be interesting. I know you're talking about that number one overall pick, so let's talk about some odds to go number one overall. Jabari Smith minus 105 right now to go number one overall. Chet Holmgren plus 145. Paulo
Ooh.
Banchero plus 390. And then it gets into the plus 4 digits after that. Jaden Ivey plus 5,000. Shaden Sharp plus 8,500. Big numbers, big numbers after that. So really, those three guys, Jabari Smith, Chet Holmgren, Paulo Banchero, are your three favorites to, or your three potential candidates to go number one overall. I've heard a lot of whispers about Jabari. I think it's a good pick at the end of the day. I think as long as you're not the one to pit Chet Holmgren, you're going to be in a good spot.
Yeah, it kind of surprised me. I haven't seen these odds since the tournament ended. So I do agree that it's Jabari Smith number one overall. And I guess if you're second or third in that pecking order, or even first, I mean, you could make. I think it's a mistake to take Chet Holmgren at number one overall, and even number two is kind of iffy. I think that Paulo is going to be the guy long term. So I guess we'll see who makes that call in a second because I don't know. Like I'm whoever it is, I'm going to be studying pretty hard over the next couple of weeks here because they could again. It just kind of feels it does kind of feel like Orlando gets this Chet Holmgren spot, and I don't know if I feel I don't know if I feel comfortable with that.
Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that that would be mighty interesting
That
if
would
they
be
did.
disgusting. That would be
Uh,
terrible.
yeah, that certainly would be. All right. Anything else in the NBA? If not, Jared, let's move on to the MLB.
No, not much. The time for this is, I believe, 7 p.m. on ESPN.
Sweet. There you go. All right. MLB recap. Interesting night for sure. The Coors game was explosive, but not the way that you wanted it to be, or not the way that I wanted it to be. Kurt Casale ends up hitting 2 home runs to get 5 runs for this Giants team. All of that throughout the bottom of the lineup, not much throughout the top. One thing that did end up saving us in the DFS side of things is the fact that Mike Yastrzemski got his home run in the ninth inning. That propelled us into cash, and we just barely hang on. But it still was a Coors game. Like I can't be mad. There was 13 runs scored in the game total.
Yep.
It's just not the guys that we wanted to score, obviously.
We didn't talk about this yesterday, but we had I had Joey Bart written up as catcher, and he got scratched or didn't make the lineup. And I told you that Kurt Casale took me to like 1,000 plus leftover money. ended up going Elias Diaz and getting Tyro Estrada instead of Brendan Rodgers, which was
Oof.
like the exact opposite of the 2v2 that I wanted because I would have had Estrada, or not Estrada, I would have had Kirk Casale and I would have had Brendan Rodgers with a little bit leftover money, which that leftover money from Syndergaard all the way up to Freddie would make sense, and I would have probably taken down everything last night.
Yeah,
So,
that's pain.
yeah, it's a brutal one because Thor didn't make it out of the first inning, and that's how my night went on DraftKings. So I got double screwed by the Joey Bart scratch.
What a weird situation for Thor. I know you don't have it down here, so we're going to talk about it now. Syndergaard, what the fuck happened, man? Like, point 0.2 innings, just getting shelled by the Rangers. Are the Rangers, like, it's funny. It goes back again to a team we make fun of, and they end up absolutely dominating and looking really good, just to spite us. Is that situation here, I guess?
See, I still like this. This obviously is the exact scenario of us saying that this team is good coming into the year, and then them not doing anything for like a 2 month stretch, and now they're starting to do something. Like you picked the wrong time to do it today, buddy.
Yeah.
Uh, so I don't know. I'm more concerned about Thor and the fact that like he had 42 pitches and they just decided, hey, you're done. Like it's not your day today. Come back later. But we thought this would be the start of potentially him finding his rhythm back again, and now he's going to, he's 3-2 on the season. I don't know. I really have no words of what happened last night because he looked lost.
I mean, it happens to every pitcher at least once or twice a
Oh sure.
season. He hasn't had
Yeah,
his
I mean
blow up
this is the
spot
same thing that
yet.
happened to Rodon the other day. So
Exactly. Um, I think that it's just beneficial because I'll get him cheaper in his next start, and I'll probably take myself up on that opportunity to get him really cheap in his next start. All right, let's talk about Wade Miley. You might not have had the Joey Bart call right, but you had the Wade Miley call right. Wade Miley, nearly a min price pitcher last night, ends up dominating against the Pirates. Goes 6 innings. It was 6 or 7 innings at the end of the night.
Evan,
Yeah, 7 innings, blanks the Pirates. Absolutely looks phenomenal in that game. You nailed your Wade Miley call, so there you go.
that was my best call of the year. Could be the best call of season. We'll
Yeah.
see. And I got nothing out of it too because my Angels
Oh,
didn't come through, and the Giants didn't come through either. So
jeez.
I was pretty excited about the Wade Miley thing. That's probably the highlight of my Monday night. And he not only did he blank them, he no hit them through 5 innings. he gave
There you
up
go.
he gave up one hit in the entire start.
So
So
you're telling me that
I
the
thought they might
Pirates
give him
were
all the way.
you telling me the Pirates 14 innings of no hits is what happened?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
jeez, man. Rough day at the office. Rough day at the office for the Pirates. All right. Let's keep talking about this. Gonsolin gets the quality start and ends up having the Dodgers come out on top in this one, 5-4. Bumgarner looked good, man, until he didn't. I mean, Bumgarner looked
Yep.
good for a really long time in this game, and I thought, he's pitching pretty well. This is going to be interesting. Dodgers still end up scoring, mostly off of a Chris Taylor home run at the tail end of the game. But Dodgers win 5-4. Got the news yesterday that Gerardo Parra is going to be retiring as a player. He will become an assistant in the Nats organization. And just to continue on the transactions of coaching and stuff, Royals fired their hitting coach 5 weeks into the season. Kind of tells you where the Royals are at. I know the guy that they're bringing in. And I heard from a few beat reporters that this guy is definitely going to improve things. I heard this guy is he's top notch. The young kids, the kids in the ball club really respect him because he's one of those management guys from the minor leagues. So like, this is a good move for them
Okay, so
overall, I
they
think.
all yeah, so he basically taught them all to hit in the
Yeah,
minor league. Nice.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Alright.
So
Well, after last night's implosion, like, you scored, like, 30 runs in cores, and then you don't do anything against Johnny Cueto. Like, that's a rough look. So, I understand the firing there.
yeah, me too. I don't know, probably for the best, and we'll see if it makes any improvements on this Royals team. All right, last but not least, a little bit of a scary injury. You usually don't see these in the MLB, but Odorizzi leaves the game on the stretcher after a leg
Mm.
injury. Was trying to make the out at first. Said he felt some lower left leg discomfort. I think we'll get more news on that today after MRIs and stuff. But it was surprising because, like, or not surprising, it really sucked because Odorizzi is having this amazing season, and now you have this happen, and it's like, well, damn. Like that really sucks to see Odorizzi do that after kind of improving over the last 3 games. And honestly, he looked good all game long. Like he was looking good all over again.
Yeah, he was looking really good. Like some of the best 3 starts in a row that I've ever seen in his career. So he was also looking good coming into the game, or like in the first several innings of the game. I actually haven't seen this, so I'm looking it up right now just to see if there's any live videos. It's not like gruesome or anything, right?
No,
It's
no,
just a
it's not.
leg injury.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a leg injury obviously looks serious enough to
Ooh,
get him
yeah.
off on a stretcher. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. That reminds me of it reminds me of, remember Mike Soroka like fell off the mound and like tore his
I
Achilles?
do remember that actually. That was
That's kind of what this reminds me of.
Yeah, it is very similar to what it is. Yeah, I don't know, man. It sucks for him. I hope he's okay because you're
Oh
really
man, that's a rough that's a rough one. This slow motion's not fun. Okay.
you're really talking about some problems if he's out for a long time. Like if he's
Yeah.
not in, this Astros team is kind of left bare at that position, and it'll be interesting to see what happens if he is going to be out. So I don't know. We will have to see. Anything else here for the MLB recap though?
No, we have an early only slate today and a smaller Tuesday main slate because they broke up the games in some kind of weird way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a weird breakup of games. You have that early only slate though. 3 gamer today. It's going to be a lot of fun, and then we have the main slate, which will be a lot of fun as well. But let's do our dog days of spring. You know, we finally get some NBA back in our lives, so we can talk about that for the underdog slip of the day. But I'll let you go first, Jared.
All right. I don't really want to take an NBA bet, but I'm just looking through them just to see if there's anything that I like in here. Oh, well, they have they have the special of the day is Tyler Hero, point 0.5 points. So obviously you can kind of pair that with whatever you want to pair it with. Maybe we'll go 3 picks just for that reason.
Okay.
Um, let's see here. Tatum lines are very, very high already, so I'm not going to be going down that road. And I just respect the Miami defense. I don't know. I just don't. I don't know how this is going to go. This feels like a series where neither team's going to score 100 points through the entire series
No.
per game. So we'll see. Uh, huh. I would do this just to spite Grant Williams, but I know he wouldn't do this. He has an 8.5 point line. Um, eventually, this dude's not going to like. Could you imagine him not existing in this series at all? Because I could.
Yeah, definitely. Just completely disappearing. I could
Hmm.
totally see that.
All right, Jimmy Butler over 23.5 points. That line's too low for him.
Nice. I like 23 and a half. I think that's a solid number. All right. For mine, I'm going to take a baseball one, and we're going to go with Dylan Cease over 94 and a half pitch count. I think he dominates against the Royals. Think he'll get to 100 pretty easily there, and I like the spot. Life Augusti says I'm going to start making a petition to make Josh's Yo to be redeemable by channel points. We can make that happen, I think. I don't know. We'll have to look into stuff, but I think we can make that happen. Jared, any final thoughts before we get out of here, man?
Not too much. Just a day full of baseball and some NBA later. I think it's like not to be that guy, but it's starting to slow down a little bit.
It is, man. We're starting to get to this time where it's only baseball, and it's the grind, which I'm excited for. I love this time of year, so we're gonna continue grinding. Plenty of content today, and we are excited to provide it. So we will see y'all later on today on the Member Only Podcast. As always, my name is Joshua Reimer. Good night and good skill.